The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at theeppodcast.com.
We're doing our monthly hangout with Frank Murray from the Evergreen Park Public Library over at Spoken Vine. You're going to find out how to win fabulous prizes and become Frank's boss in real life. No joke. Plus, we're taking a deep dive, a real look at Central Middle School in District 124 with Superintendent Dr. Jenna Woodland in moments. It's all brought to you by the First National Bank of Evergreen Park, who invest in this community because they love the EP. That's why they give you free ATMs nationwide. Doesn't matter which ATM you use, whatever the fee is, they just put the money back in, they make it free. Their total access checking account paired with their brand new mobile banking tools and award-winning customer service, and the fact there's no overdraft charges, and you get a $300 bonus with qualifying activities. Switching to a true community bank has never been easier. Get over to the First National Bank of Evergreen Park on the corner of 95th and Pulaski in that iconic building there, member FDIC. I have a fun discussion for this show today. I'm actually really excited about it because I've kind of known about some things we're going to talk about for a little while. Dr. Jenna Woodland is here. She's the superintendent of District 124 schools. How are you?
I am great. Thanks so much for having me back.
I'm excited about doing this because I feel like I've known about this topic now for a little while. I'm actually a member of a task force of community leaders that's been kind of talking about what we're going to talk about today. And when you were like, let's finally talk about it on the podcast, I was like, yes, because I've had so much I've wanted to say about it. So to kind of give a quick background, everybody, as we dive into this, District 124, great school district. You've been doing a wonderful job.
Thank you. Thank you.
But I was asked to come into this task force, and what I learned was there's some things that need to be upgraded with the school. And as somebody who doesn't have kids that go to Central, right? And my one son went to Southwest for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm not intimately knowledgeable about all the buildings in your district. It's been eye-opening to tour the buildings. It's been eye-opening to see where the kids go to school. And on one hand, what I've seen, especially with Central, a building that is well past its usefulness and has problems. And I'm also seeing administrators like yourself and teachers continually putting Band-Aids on to try to make it the best experience possible for your kids. And I think what we're going to talk about today is more has to be done. Does that sum it up right?
I think you did an excellent job summing that up. And I think one thing I really want to emphasize is that our teachers are doing the absolute best with the facilities that they have in front of them. And our kids are rising to the occasion. And I cannot be more proud of all the work that we are doing in the district. And I don't want to steer away from that, all the positive that I believe is happening. Our test scores have improved drastically over time. We have done so much around social and emotional learning. But there is one big factor that I think is really impacting this, and it's our overall facility needs. And that comes with a deep assessment that we're currently going through and that we've been going through with our architects, and really learning how can we best create a learning environment for our kids.
Yeah, I mean, to give an idea to people who have not walked through that school or don't understand what it's like to go to Central Middle School, which is your 6th, your 7th, and your 8th graders, which is a really delicate time in any child's life. And it's that in between of, hey, I'm in grammar school and reading, writing, arithmetic, and going off to high school. And there's a lot of things that they're going through. When I walked through that building, and you heard me, everybody got a chance to talk at the task force, and we were asked after we did a tour, what is your impression of the building? And this is my first time walking through it. I don't know how you get the best out of kids in that building. And what you're doing is even more incredible, knowing what you're going through. There's a point in there, folks, where to get to certain classrooms, you have to walk through another one. Yeah. Like a classroom becomes a hallway because of the bad layout of the building. They're eating in a place that reminds me of a prison and has an odor that has me concerned. But the thing that was most striking, and I think I brought this up when we were all talking about our impressions of it, the hallways are not conducive to the amount of kids that you have.
Exactly.
Your doors open outwards, your lockers are there, and your space bottlenecks in the hallways. So what you have, and it's amazing that you are able to do what you're able to do with these kids, you have points in the building where there are more kids in their space as they're moving through your hallways. They get bottlenecked and pushed into each other naturally by the way that the hallways kind of get smaller as you walk down them.
Yeah.
And I think my comment was, when I went to school, if that happened and I bumped into somebody, all of a sudden there'd be a fight.
Exactly.
Or you'd be pushing. And you then see that the building itself almost encourages conflict and makes it very hard. You can imagine kids going through there and almost with their head down, just trying to survive, moving from third to fourth period. That was the thing that stuck out to me the most.
Yes. So I think it's important to note that in 27, Central Middle School will be 100 years old.
It's crazy.
And when you describe the building, which you did fabulously, it is just the overall layout of a building that is really, truly impacting the behaviors of our children. And we all know middle school environments, being an adolescent alone, it's awkward enough as it is. And so having an environment where kids can really explore and learn and have positive peer interactions is really what we're looking to do. And I think there was Jim Hennessy as our director of operations. He really said it perfectly. We have done so much, but we cannot continue to put Band-Aids on this problem.
Well, you're behind technologically. Like we saw some classrooms,
Yes.
the boards are inconsistent as to what they learn off of.
Mm-hmm.
There's carpeting that's on the floors. It looks like it's 100 years old, just like the
is.
building is. You're putting what I would describe as almost like a sheet
Yes.
over the lights because the lighting is so poor for the kids.
Yes.
That you actually have to make adjustments to the lighting. I mean, like, as I walk through, on one hand, I'm amazed at the things that need to be fixed. Like there's definitely things that need to be changed inside of the school. But then I'm also amazed at how much you've MacGyvered the school. Like the teachers are not only teaching, but they're doing the best with all the duct tape that they have to kind of put it together. Like, because the school is really kind of, and that's the best way to kind of describe it, it's been MacGyvered together.
Yep.
There's a lot of, we couldn't figure out how to do this, so we created benches that sit inside of closets and they come down so we can make a cafeteria. And we've put these things on lights that we really shouldn't have to put on lights, but this is the only way that we can fix the lighting for the kids. Like there's a lot of like, it's crazy, but that's what you're doing over there. And it shouldn't be that way. Not in Evergreen Park, not in a community as strong as this, not in the tax bracket that it sits in. Like, I mean, like to me, I'm in shock when I walk through that school.
Well, and we all know this about Evergreen Park. Evergreen Park is a community that loves their schools. And what really strikes me is that our community is really driven on how can we improve our schools? What are you doing administratively with your teachers to improve the environment to which your kids learn in? And we're really at the point in time where it is about awareness. That's the purpose of our community task force. I want the community to tell me as the superintendent, what can and should we do better? And I can tell you consistently since we've started this task force, everyone is telling me one thing, and it's that we need a new middle school.
Yeah, I agree.
It is just that plain and that simple.
It was interesting as we walked around. I mean, you have an architect that you're working with.
Yes.
Who tries to figure out, okay, if we keep the building, we can put this Band-Aid on and we can make this adjustment. And then you have local citizens who happen to be architects.
Yep.
Okay. And they're sitting there trying to come up with their own ideas. And everybody was sitting there trying to figure out, okay, well, how could we fix what's here?
Yeah.
And it did not take long to realize you can't.
You cannot fix what's there.
You might be able to make a repair or something that might last for 6 months to a year, and you're going to be right back to the drawing board again. It's reached a point where you've got to figure out how to get a new building.
And that's where we're at.
Right. And it's interesting. You guys have talked about it with the task force. I hope I'm not giving too much away, but like, if you did it, it'd probably be on the same property. I've already seen like a really interesting plan that if you pulled it off, it would be the parking lot would be where the building is.
Yep.
The building would become a parking lot. There'd be some athletic fields and stuff. It really looks cool. Like my daughter's back from U of I and she's studying to be an architect.
Oh, amazing.
So I took the plans.
You should bring her.
I took the plans that you guys like showed the task force. I brought it back and she's like, "This is cool." And I'm like, this is kind of where they're headed, I think. And I think it's a really great idea. And I think it's something that's really necessary.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, and ultimately, I think we want to remain on that property. And the main reason why is really twofold. So obviously, we're in the day and age where our kids are able to walk to school, which is just a huge benefit to any environment. Transportation costs, I can tell you in other districts, we're very lucky we don't have busing. They have skyrocketed, not a good use of funding for our taxpayer. And ultimately, Central is central. Like, it is such a beautiful area for it to be in. And we've really tasked our architects to say, like, can we build on our property? And they have told us yes. And so why move the facility when we have the opportunity to continue in that space that we have existing? And then we don't have to buy any other land. And we all know Evergreen Park, it's landlocked. Like, there is no land available.
There's nowhere else you could probably go. And the thing is, the need for a new building, it was interesting that, I don't know if you told the story or somebody else told it the last time we all had the meeting, that there's another school district that, like, they were like, hey, we probably need a new building. And they didn't move quick enough on it. And the roof came in.
Yep, Lockport.
And I can imagine that. I'm sorry, I don't want to make anybody nervous. I can see that could happen probably in the next 5 years at that school. That school is starting to get older.
And so that's a really great point that you bring up. So it was Lockport High School. It was their freshman center. That building was only 114 years old.
Yeah, and you're getting close.
We're at 100 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just pure logic when you think about it. Like, when things get old, you have to replace things.
And then the kids had to be bussed out of town to go to school, right?
Out of town using taxpayer dollars to transport kids from Lockport to Lincoln Way for a majority of that school year. And I am going to scare people when I say this, but kids were in that building when that ceiling collapsed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's concerning. And I'm not saying, like, we would never put kids in our environment knowing if
you have an architect that works for
very closely
and so he comes
us.
through and looks at the building.
Yes.
You know it's structurally sound right now. But what you are learning from him is there is a definite shelf life and you're getting to the end of it for that building. And you want to work on what you're going to do now, rather than work on it when something bad happens or you're on the brink of something bad happening.
Exactly.
Now is the time to actually address it.
Yes, it is the time to address it. And, frankly, like, I firmly believe that our kids deserve it. They deserve a learning environment to which they feel and believe that they take pride in every day. And we're just not there yet with our facilities. And it's time for us to really consider delivering them a new school.
They must be in shock when they get to the high school. Because the high school's beautiful. The high school has all these facilities. The high school is just this gorgeous thing. After they've spent 3 years in Central, they must get to the high school and be like, is this heaven?
I'm really glad you brought that up, because I have so many people who also tell us, minus our mobiles at our elementary buildings, but our elementary buildings, they're amazing. Our high school, it's amazing. Why can't Central Middle School be that way in terms of our facilities?
Yeah.
And the question is, why can't they? It's the truth. Like, why can't we dedicate the resources that our kids, our community deserves to have? And that's really what we're looking to do.
I mean, if you think about it, I mean, look, kids these age, I have 3 children. One of them is now off in college. The other one is in high school. And then I have one that's about to turn 10 years old. And they've moved through all these different schools, and and what I've noticed is the kid that's 10 already kind of has an idea of where he wants to go to high school, right?
Yeah.
Like, so he's already looking at that. He knows what his school looks like. He knows what the different high schools look like. The kids in Southwest and Northwest and Northeast and Southeast, they're in pretty solid facilities compared to Central.
Yes.
And then they go to this place for 3 years that must just feel soul crushing while they're there. And then knowing that when I get out of there, I get to go to the really cool one that's over there at 99th and Kedzie. And I get back to good facilities again. So that's got to be such a jolt to them. Like, hey, congratulations, you're in the 6th grade. Welcome to this building.
Yeah.
It's got to be very difficult to deal with and hard to learn in that circumstance.
And you touched on this too, like, just the overall, again, layout, because of building additions that occurred, the quality of being able to get from point A to point B for a student, particularly a 6th grader, it's no wonder that they have a hard time in some cases transitioning. And if they had an environment, again, that was, again, conducive to an operating school, it would look very different.
And the additions have also created almost safety hazards for those that may have a disability.
Yes.
I noticed that as well, because your floors are not even.
They're not
There's
even.
a first floor, and then there's like a 1.5 that gets to like a 2, because the additions, like everything doesn't line up right. So then you have somebody who's wheelchair bound or suffered an injury or on crutches or whatever, and now they have a very difficult time moving about the building because of the weird layout that's set up. It's not. I keep going back to it, and I don't want to harp on it, but as I walk through the hallway, I kept saying, this building's almost set up to bring down the morale of those that are in it.
Yes.
And force them into bumping into each other, getting lost, and having just the worst possible day.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's how it feels, right? I mean, it's interesting. If you ever get a chance to walk through Central and you go down a hallway, have them open up all the doors. Mm-hmm. That's the most amazing thing, because you see the hallway, you go, oh, it's just a normal hallway. Then they open up the doors, which they have to have open so the kids can get in, and the hallway shrinks to half the size.
Exactly.
And then you realize there's no way you can move all these kids around.
There is no way that you can move all those kids around. I am really glad, though, you brought up accessibility. And in terms of like a child with disability, or even a child who, had an accident, is now on crutches, accessibility is a large concern that we've always had. We have one operating elevator in the building. However, it's older.
Which you asked me if I wanted to get in. I said, no, I'm not getting in there.
Yeah, exactly.
My mind said, I'll get trapped in there.
Yes, exactly.
That's how I felt.
It's just not inviting, not an inviting elevator.
I was like, I might get in that elevator and be trapped in Central for a week. Like, I'm not getting in that elevator. Yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously, like in the event of emergency and school safety, it should be our number one concern every day. And when we think about a child who has particular needs getting out in the event of a fire, we really have to think about those things. And there are times, in the event a child was on the bottom floor in order to be properly removed from the building during a fire, during an emergency, we are currently training staff. We have trained our staff to do a 2-person lift to assist in that student exiting. But with that said, we should never be in that position. And that just comes with today's world, updated technology, updated safety means, and frankly, new is just better. And we want to be able to deliver the safest school in Illinois to our community.
Well, and I think the thing that I've learned going through this with you and the other people that are on the task force, which I thought it was very nice that you asked me. Every time I tell somebody I'm on the task force, they go, why'd they put you on there? I said, I don't know. I guess I'm a community leader because I do a podcast.
You are.
And then I laugh. And they laugh. And we're like, you're not that important. I'm like, no, I'm not. But I think it was nice of you to invite me.
Of course.
But I sit on this panel with all these really important people, and I'm like, I don't even want to talk. But the thing that I've noticed is that it's not you guys walking in and saying, hey, task force, we would like to have nicer offices. Like, I want to have like the coolest carpeting in the world. You're really asking for the basics. Like that's kind of what you're trying to figure out. How do we do this in the best way possible to get the basics and the need things, the necessary things, not you're not looking for the Cadillac. You're just looking for the car that works.
Yes.
And
exactly.
because right now you're driving a junker.
Yeah.
And that's the easiest way to kind of describe it. And I hope that as you go through this process, and I think it's been suggested, that Central becomes available for people who may not have seen it to walk through and see it. Because you have to see this, folks. If you walked through this building, you'd be like, oh dear God, we're sending kids in here? Like, that's how you would feel.
Yeah, and I will tell you, we created an email, tours@d124.org. So anyone who wants to take a tour of the middle school, I will make sure that happens at any time, or any of our facilities for that matter. And it really is because I do believe we need to get people in there.
Yeah.
We intend to do video footage as well. If you're not interested, that will be coming in the near fall. And many photos for people to see what our building's current reality is, because it is our current reality.
Do you have a scratch and sniff so we can get the smell from the basement?
Oh yeah, that would be ideal. If only we had that. It would.
You want to know what it smells like in the basement? Just scratch this in here.
Yes, exactly. And then our back to school bash, which I'm certain I'll be back on that evening. We plan to provide people with tours, like 20 minutes back to back.
Yeah.
anyone who wants to come in. So it's something to look forward to.
What is the plan now? I mean, like where are you at now?
Yeah, that's
like,
a great question.
Because I know that you've got some ideas.
Yes.
And that the architects have presented a few things, but they've also said, hey, we're in the beginning stages. Where are you at right now, and how do you move forward?
Yes. So we've had 2 community task force meetings, one in April, one in May. We'll have our third June 3rd. And it is really the community task force goal is to bring a recommendation to me as to what we should survey and test with our larger community. And essentially, we want to hear from our community. What is it that you want us as the public school district to service to our community? We want to hear from everyone. But first, we really needed to hear from a smaller group to support in making that recommendation. And ultimately, it will be the board's decision come December in terms of what our longer term plans are.
Yeah, but I feel like we've talked.
Yeah.
You understand this. I get it. I think everybody gets it. Like this.
Everyone who's been on the task force, genuinely has said to me,
"There's got to be 50 people on it." There's 50 people who've all independently told you, you need a new school.
Yep.
Like that needs to be something needs to be done there. You know, and everybody at first was like, "Okay, well, what if we had a coat of paint here? We do this." Then we realized that is not going to work.
Yeah, it's exactly true. But I just want to emphasize too again that. My door is always open. My phone line is always open. If any community member would like to speak to me directly, I'm happy to speak with them about process. They are invited to attend if they'd like to attend. And feedback to us right now is important. And we want to hear from our community as a whole.
All right, Dr. Jenna Woodland, I'm sure we'll talk about this more in the future. I love the fact that you came in and talked about it because it's been one of those things where I'm going to these task force things and I'm like, I really want to talk about this on the podcast. Like when I did the Tour Central, I almost just went rogue and went on the show. I was like, folks, Central's a disaster. Like I was like, you gotta see this thing. Yeah. But I was like, it's not fair to her. I'll wait until we get a chance to talk about it. We get into the process a little bit. But it's definitely something that people have to know about, even if you don't have a kid going to the school. You know, good schools build strong communities, and they make your house and your residents more valuable. If things are running smoothly and there's good facilities and good schools and it makes good kids who are walking around your neighborhood. So we'll keep everybody updated on it. Thanks for stopping by.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Building relationships, supporting the community, and service. These are the things that Country Financial stands for. They're more than just an office you may pass by as you drive through Evergreen Park. They're neighbors who lend a helping hand and support the fabric of your community, including charitable organizations, sports, financial education, and civic organizations. And since Country is already your neighbor, they want to get together and chat. Call your local Country Financial representative, Mike Thauer, today at 708-425-1559 to talk about the things that are important to you and how he can help you protect them. We're back at Spoken Vine. Frank Murray's with me, the EP podcast at 95th and Kedzie on the northeast corner at one of my favorite spots. I was here last night.
Do you know the exact address?
No.
Dang.
No, we'll ask Bridget when she comes down here in a moment to tell us about the food. I don't know the exact address. It's easier to just tell people the northeast corner of 95th and Kedzie.
It is.
That's what I do.
I'm trying to look at
it out there.
The door.
You see it. You come into the lot. You park. There's plenty of parking. I walked in last night. It was a Thursday night. Mm-hmm. I walk in the door. Seats at the bar. They're doing wine tastings over here at the table that
delicious.
We're sitting at right here.
Yes.
There's couples having meals. There's lively conversation. Met a few people. Ran into a neighbor. Had some wine. Ate some food. Tried the hummus.
Okay.
I was bringing food back to the kids.
All right.
And so, they like the pinzas. You know, it's a 21 and over place, so they can't come in here and eat it.
Right.
And I'm like, well, Dad will go up and drink a couple glasses of wine. talk to the ladies, and then bring home pinzas. That's what my plan
Dad
is.
always has a plan.
That's what Dad's plan is. So I was like, well, I need something in my stomach as I drink wine because I don't want to be sloppy. So I went and I got just the hummus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they roast the chickpeas and they put them on top for a little crunchy thing. It was awesome. Bridget, come on in here. I want to talk to her. Bridget's one of the two wonderful owners here at Spoken Vine. I've never had hummus with somebody roasted chickpeas.
The mastermind behind the food.
Yeah, it's just a fun little touch.
Yeah.
Right? Crunchy contrast.
I was totally into it. Yeah. Everybody kept asking me who knows me here. They're like, "Oh, you're eating healthy?" Because I was having the hummus and there's like some peppers on there. And like, yeah, look at it. Look, Chris is eating healthy.
No, don't worry, Chris already has 3 orders in for the pinzas.
Yeah, well, that was a funny thing. Like the way they were saying is like, "What's wrong with you eating healthy?"
And we also use those in the Greek salad.
Yes.
So it's like instead of croutons, that crunchiness is the roasted chickpeas.
It's a really great idea. What do we have in front of us right here?
So this is what we did as our second course for all the rosé tastings this month. So it's a poached shrimp in a citrus herb vinaigrette, and that's over a bed of arugula that we dress with lemon juice, olive oil, and salt. There was a process for the shrimp. First, you do a dry brine with salt and baking soda and let that sit while we make our court bouillon, which is a broth that we make with white wine, lemon, herbs, and then you bring the broth temperature down so that we could gently poach the shrimp. Gently poach it, then toss it in our vinaigrette and chill it. So it's a nice light salad, and it pairs great with the vermentino that you have, the Gianni Muscardini Penteo just to your right. Great white wine, shrimp. Great pairing with the rosé.
Frank's laughing because I'm drinking while you're doing it, but somebody has to tell people what it tastes like. They can't taste it through the screen.
And now it is
Frank.
your turn.
Now you can try it. But I mean,
I just like your facial expressions. You're like,
oh, I do that.
Yeah.
I do. I'm trying to. Oh, I tasted the wine. When she says pairing, I always say to myself, well, does it really pair? Like palate-wise, after I've just had that flavor, does it match the wine? They do a really good job of that, and it actually does pair up very well.
Exceptional job.
Yeah.
Yes.
First of all, really good. I like good shrimp. I hate low quality shrimp. Like you can walk into a place and like the shrimp is not good, and this is fresh. They're the right size. They're butterfly. Thank God. I don't like eating shrimp that have those little lines running down. I don't want that. I don't want it in my teeth. I love the fact you're butterfly. It's really good.
Soak up all the vinaigrette too.
Yeah.
Get into the crevices.
Yeah, really, really good. Very good. Is this going to be? No, don't worry about him. He's fine.
someone cares about me, Chris.
Dive in.
And is this on the menu, or is this something you're just going to be using for tastings?
We just did it for the tastings. So usually with our wine tastings, there's at least 1 or 2 items that are not on the menu. That's something different. So for the rosé specifically, you've seen our mini mezze on the menu, and it has prosciutto and manchego on it. We switched it up and we did brie and fruit.
Okay.
So that was a nice spread to start with. We rolled into the shrimp. It's kind of like a salad. And then we did a new flatbread with artichokes and red peppers and goat cheese. That was really great. And then we finish it off with a margarita pinza. So something that everybody likes, a little bit more bread to soak up all that wine, people pleaser.
Yeah, speaking of soaking up wine, I had 3 different kinds last night. I was, because that's what I do. I'll walk in, and the first thing I say is, what's new? What do you think I should try? That's how I start everything off. Then I start going to the favorites. Then I start going down the thing, and I go, what do I have a taste for that I've had in here before? That's how I do it when I come in here. You can't just have one glass of wine, Frank.
Nope.
You have to have multiple.
Nope.
And then you can figure out which one is your favorite and take one home.
That's what I did last night. Mm-hmm. I brought one home last night. I actually, I had wine, and then I brought home the fat bastard Merlot. That's what I brought home, which I like because I don't normally like Merlots, but I like French Merlots. You guys introduced me to that because there's a little bit of vanilla that shows up inside of it.
So this is not on the menu.
That is not on the menu.
Frank's like it should be on the menu.
Should be.
Well, so we always do a test run, and if things go over really, really well, the carrots were actually something that we brought on at our very first tasting as a vegetarian option. And it was like, oh, these are going on the menu. Everybody loved them, and they're still one of our top sellers.
One second you're trying something out. Next second, Frank Murray's telling you he likes it. Now it's on the menu. It's called Murray Shrimp.
Murray Shrimp. There we go. I was going to say, the only time I eat my carrots is when I come here.
Bridget, thanks so much. We really appreciate it. It's really, really good.
Thanks so much.
Delicious.
Coming by.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You got to stop eating now. You got to talk.
Oh, man.
And then knock it off. You got to tell me all about what's going on at the library. I saw that I can be your boss, which I'm really excited about. I'm kind of pumped about this. I mentioned on the last show.
This is true.
There's an opening on the library board.
Correct. There's a vacancy.
One of 7 of Frank's bosses, right? You have
This
7
is true.
bosses.
There are 7 board members.
So
yes.
you can be one of Frank's bosses and keep Frank in line. And so I think I'm putting in my name.
Well, good.
I just want you to know I'm thinking about putting in my name.
So you'll have
what do
to
I get as a
submit-
benefit as being a library member? I just get to take books whenever I want to. Are there no due dates for me? Are there no fines? Can I have parties in the reference section? Like, what am I allowed to do as a board
None
member?
of the above.
Oh, there's got to be perks.
No, it's a volunteer position. You're doing it on the goodness.
Do I get to walk in and just
of
throw
your-
my feet up on your desk?
community
And you can't do
heart?
anything about it? Is that one of those things?
Supporting your library. No, you're not allowed in my office.
Oh, I'm going to be your boss. I'll do whatever the heck I want to. All right.
But seriously, though, those who are interested in can apply. The library board is accepting applications, and an application consists of a letter of interest, just stating why you'd want to serve on the library board, and a resume. You submit those. Resume applications are due by Tuesday, June 10th is the final day to submit those.
Is this like a volunteer thing? Like, basically, you're not getting paid for it.
Correct.
You're just taking care of
library
the
board. Yeah, it's a
You
volunteer.
just gotta love books.
It's a
There's got to be
2-year
perks then. There's got to be perks, Frank.
It's a
Like, I'm
2-year
not
term.
paying fines if I'm working for 2 years for no money. Like, I'm just taking books willy nilly. That's what I'm doing.
No willy nilly. Yeah, you're on the hook.
You work for me, big
You're
guy.
on the hook. You're on the hook. You're on the hook for it. Yeah, so it would be, you're filling a 2-year term, which from the last election, the April 2025 consolidated election, we had the library board had 3 open seats. 2 people ran, so there was an opening, and it would just be, you'd be filling up the 2-year term. And in 2027, it would be up for election again, so you could either choose to run or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Have some fun.
I'm coming. I'm putting my resume in.
It's an
I'm gonna
awesome
tell you what to do.
opportunity to advocate for the library.
Yeah.
You do get to oversee me.
Yeah. That's all I wanted. It's the
you're-
power trip of telling you what
You're
to do.
also ensuring that we are being excellent stewards of taxpayer money, which we have done a fantastic job of
Be a
doing.
board member. I'm gonna be in there every day. I'm gonna be watching you, Murray.
With your wine glass.
That's what I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be the board member that walks around like, Lanuti's here with another glass of wine. He's looking for you, Frank. That's what it's gonna be like. It's gonna be great. We're gonna have so much fun. I'm gonna have fun. I don't know if you're gonna have fun.
I
but
can't wait.
I'm gonna have a ton of fun.
So other people that really love the library and appreciate what we do, please apply.
Don't apply. I'll take
Don't get Chris in there.
If you want to prevent me from having power, absolute power at the
Absolute
library,
power.
then you should apply. All right. What else do you got going on? It's summer cheating program, right?
Boom! It's big time. Yeah, I call it a little something different.
What do you call it?
I call it summer reading.
Oh, I call it summer cheating because it's all in the honor system. Go read a book, and then you just write down on a piece of paper how long you read for, and you get prizes. Or don't read a book, and then just write down how much you supposedly read for, and get prizes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this year's theme is Color Our World.
Okay.
So we got a lot of fun things going on. The big one is on Saturday, May 31st from 1 to 3 p.m. is our big summer reading kickoff party. We are having a petting zoo. We're having a foam party. There will be the Evergreen Park Community High School Color Guard will be performing. We'll have a bubble station where you can create all sorts of fun, amazing experiments with bubbles. There will be a water balloon toss. And we also have Culver's. We'll be out there with their delicious cups of custard.
So I've been meaning to ask you this.
While supplies last.
When you do these events, what you're really trying to do is get people to read and use the library in a traditional sense. But look at all the stuff you have to do, from water balloon fights to custard from Culver's.
Hey, we got to have some fun, man.
to get them to show up. Like,
gotta have
does
some
it pay
fun.
off? Do you feel like you
Yes.
get people that show up
So
who had no intention
Yeah.
of actually using the library, showed up for the event, and then suddenly they're like, I think I'll take a book out. I mean, do you see that?
Your example, so this is our 3rd year of doing a summer reading kickoff party. Our first year, we had a line out the door for people to sign up for library cards.
Oh, okay.
So yes, it's definitely working. And every year since the pandemic, our numbers continue to increase, including our summer reading participation. For example, just in one specific demographic, teens. 2 years ago, we had about 60-some teens that signed up to participate in summer reading. And then this past year, we had just over 100.
All right.
So almost doubled the amount of participation with it. So we are seeing a definite improvement.
Excellent
And
answer
that's
to
what
that
we're trying to
question.
get at.
That's the kind of questions I'll be asking when I'm your boss.
That's a board member. Great.
Do we really need the water balloons, Frank? Are you getting results for this? And you're like, yes, I'm getting results for it. See, I'm already kind of a natural at keeping you in check.
There you go. You are. It'll just be like the EP podcast every second Wednesday of the month.
How long does the summer reading program go for?
Yeah.
Run down all the details.
Yeah, so summer reading program's going from June 1st all the way through July 31st. And just like in years past, every 100 minutes you read gets you some incentives and an entry into the grand prize raffle. The goal is to get everybody to read 600 minutes. If you go over 600 minutes, you get another entry into the grand prize raffle drawings. In each age group, youth, teen, and adults. Yes, Chris, adults too can participate. That's our most common question. Or, we're just here to sign the kids up. Well, adults can participate too.
Adults can fill in whatever they think Frank will buy as to how much they read.
True. And then we quiz you.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah,
I'm just going to pick books that I read before. I know how to get around you.
We get you in front of
I know how to get around you. I'm going to sit down and write down books that I've already read.
Okay.
But a long time ago. I'm going to act like I read them. I'm going to fill in all these extra minutes. I'm going to take all your prizes. And when you quiz me, I'll be like, yeah, I know what happened in that book because I read it 20 years ago.
All right. Challenge accepted.
I'm just saying.
Let's see. Yeah.
I've figured out how to blow your whole plan up. All right?
Kids that are listening. Yeah.
What you should do is you should read. You should be honest. And you should get the fabulous prizes for reading.
Correct.
But you
100%.
could also do it my way. I'm just saying.
Where does that get you?
It gets you prizes.
It gets you.
What kind of prizes do you get?
On a podcast.
What kind of prizes do you get?
Awesome. So we have all sorts of prizes. I can run through.
I just want to know what I get for cheating.
You, as the adults?
Yeah, as an adult. What am I getting? Gift cards, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of different gift cards, including a gift card right here to Spoken Vine.
See? There we go.
We have a Bookies gift card. We've got a Blick Arts Materials gift card. There's a 40-ounce Stanley tumbler. There's an Open Outcry gift card. And a really cool family 4-pack of tickets and stuff to the Windy City Thunderbolts game.
Okay.
And there's also some free classes, Pilates classes at Core Fitness.
That's awesome.
Along with
and the kids are getting
bag.
like candy bars and like little
The kids are
prizes,
getting
right?
like a whole bunch of stuff. Their grand prizes are Nerf guns, Lego sets,
Really?
Steam kits.
For reading?
For reading, yes. These are the grand prizes. So they have to complete those 600 minutes, get those entries so they can hopefully get better odds of getting selected for the prize that they want.
And if for some reason you don't give away all the prizes, then the library board gets the leftover prizes, right? I'm just trying to find the perk for doing this.
Don't worry, you won't be appointed by then.
But I will be appointed, Frank. You know it's coming.
It's the EP Podcast. All things Evergreen Park. It's the EP Podcast. Evergreen Park.